To the Falls Township Board of Supervisors meeting on Monday, January 27th. Begin with the salute to the flag, please. Thank you, Mr. Galloway. Can you call the roll?
Jeff Brodsky.
Here.
John Palmer.
Here.
Aaron Mullen.
Here.
Jeff Dents.
Here.
And of course, I'm here.
All right, we're going to start real quick with the gingerbread decorating contest winners so that they don't have to hang out here all night.
Thank you so much for moving us up. Appreciate. Good to see everyone tonight. Parks and Recreation this year did something. It's a first. We did a gingerbread house decorating contest. You know, we've done the house decorating contest. Want to do something a little different. Now we're here tonight to award. Come on up.
Congratulations, you guys.
Great job, everybody.
Thank you. All right, that takes us to our annual report from the Falls Township Fire Company, number 1.
Thank you, Chairman Denson. Thank you for the time you allotted this evening. I know you got a very heavy schedule with the agenda items. For each of the board members, we provided a print copy of this report, and we're proud to share our 2024 story with you. With me, I have Chief Salt, Assistant Chief Bradshaw. They'll be coming up in intervals, and you can see that we have our members here. Vice President Rich Berman is here also. This is our mission statement. Just tells you how we're centered, what we operate by. Ask you to take a look at this as you look at this on your own leisure. But our goal is to provide excellence to the citizens, businesses, and visitors of Falls Township. And we provide all hazard responses 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with an integrated systems approach to service. This is our core values. This is what drives us: compassion, trust, stewardship, innovation, and courage. This is what our members are involved in every day, and it's at who we are in the center of us. A little bit about our founding. It was founded in the village of Fallsington, 1928. We petitioned the Commonwealth and the Bucks County Court for a charter, which was granted May 14th, 1928. And we're proud to say we are the oldest public safety agency in Falls Township, coming up on our 100th anniversary. To the core of what we do. This year, we had 731 runs or responses. You can look, 98 fires. The categories are right there: 99 rescue or EMS services, 246 what we term false alarms, which could be a wide variety of things, 1 special incident. And the thing to note is that 7.39, or almost 8%, of our calls are overlapping. So we had 54 overlapping calls out of 731 calls we had. Our busiest areas, our busiest box zones: Box 3015, 37 runs. That's the Rock Spring, Wellington Woods, and Rock Creek Run neighborhood. The first 2 are garden apartments, high-density residential occupancies. Box 3025 on Plaza Boulevard, Alexandria Apartments. Box 3050, 31 runs, that's U.S. Steel North Point. Box 3014, the Commons at Fallsington, 26 runs. And Box 3041, which is Lincoln Highway between Tyburn Road and Pennsylvania Avenue. So these are where the bulk of our calls were for this year. I'm going to turn it over to Chief Brian Salt right now. He'll go over the calls to note that we had this year. Chief Salt.
Good evening. Like Bobby said, our calls to note: we had 21 working fires, 26 automobile fires, 5 auto extrications, 1 industrial rescue, 1 hazardous materials incident. 3 Specific calls to notes were tactical box 3033 at 1047 Aldridge Drive. First arriving personnel got there, had heavy fire from the trailer. Our engine 30 arrived first, had 2 hand lines in service pretty quickly, and with the help of engine 32 from Levittown number 1, our engine established good water supply, and the fire was put under control very quickly. The second call to note is box 3016, 919 Lincoln Highway. It's self-storage. This originally went out as a dwelling fire. It was first thing in the morning. With further investigation and with the help of Falls Township Police Department, it was determined that the smoke was actually coming from this self-storage. Again, I arrived first on scene, determined that there was roughly about 25 storage units involved. Crews made a great stop, and fire was placed under control within a couple hours. And then a really good call to note is local box 3022 at 8 East MY Lane. This was a first for the department as well as the first in the county. It was the first recorded electrical vehicle fire. It was a Tesla. Luckily for us, with our training, we just had electrical vehicle training not long before this. So this fire was fresh in our minds, how to put it out. We also used the help of a electrical vehicle electrical vehicle blanket from our friends at 3rd District in Bristol Township. This also determined as a fire company that we purchased 2 blankets for ourselves, and we're one of only 3 or 4 companies in the county that have them. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Salt. Here's our call volume for the last 5 years. You can see that they've increased. They went down slightly last year, and these total up to over 3,500 total runs from 2020 to 2024. So the workload's increasing. Our staffing response times, what really matters is how many people have and how fast we get there. This is taken from our emergency reporting that we fill out after every run at the firehouse. So our average staffing on the apparatus is 4.7 rounded up to 5, and we have 5 people back at the firehouse for a total of 10.1 members average staffing per call. So most of our calls are what we call single-piece responses, just one truck going out. We can handle overlapping calls with the 5 people back at the firehouse. On a box alarm, a structure fire, or a dwelling fire, 2 trucks can be staffed with our average staffing. And generally, all 3 trucks can be staffed on a box alarm. How we evaluate ourselves. We use NFPA 1720, which is a standard for organization deployment of fire suppression operations to the public by volunteer fire companies. There's 3 zones, urban, suburban, and rural. Falls Township fits into the urban zone at 1,627.3 people per square mile. So if you look at the bottom graph, they recommend 15 members, a 9-minute response time, and meet at 90% of the time. Our average is 10.1. However, under Note B, we can use automatic aid, which on a structure fire brings mutual aid companies in from within the township or without. We can claim and believe that we meet that staffing with the automatic aid. Our response time is 7 minutes and 18 seconds, and we meet that 87% of the time. Our membership, our most important asset is our members. We have 30 active firefighters, 15 active members who could be firefighters that don't meet the percentage, or members that just come and help out administratively. We use the 10% that's used for the township incentive as our mark. You folks have graciously given us a township incentive. That's 10%. That's what we use to determine the 30 active firefighters. Also, it's very good to note that we have 2 third-generation members, and we have 8 second-generation members. So the value of service runs very deep in the Falls Township Fire Company. We're a very proud organization. Recruitment and retention. How many people are we getting, and how long are we keeping them for? In the last 5 years, we've had 20 members join. We've kept 16, at the 6-month probation, and 4 were declined. Now, that could be for a number of reasons. Either they found they didn't want to be a firefighter, or they didn't mesh in with the members that we had. So they got 6 months, and we've kept 16 out of the 20. That's an 80% retention rate over 5 years. So we believe we have something to offer people that want to be firefighters, and we're attracting good people, and we're keeping good people at a rate of 80%. I'm going to invite Assistant Chief Bradshaw up to talk about our training program. Chief Bradshaw?
Good evening. In 2024, we completed over 350 hours of training. Of this 350 hours, that included annual breathing apparatus requalification, engine company operations, ladder company operations, driver's training for new and existing drivers, a review of hazmat, vehicle rescue, rope rescue, firefighter safety and survival, rapid intervention training, which is training to help us save our fellow firefighters. We also, as Chief Salt mentioned, did training on electric vehicle fires and the blankets that we purchased to suppress those fires. And we completed 2 annual structural burns. It is required for each active firefighter to make one of those. And we also had several debriefs and after-action reports from working incidents, including a review of strategies and tactics to improve in the future. Our command staff also attended a tabletop exercise at Gillespie Inc., and this is to help us work with them better if there's ever an emergency there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Bradshaw. Here's our accomplishments for 2024. We had 2 members complete Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2. We had several members complete Vehicle Rescue Ops. 2 members attained their fire instructor and officer certification. 1 member was redesignated as a Chief Fire Officer for the Center for Public Safety Excellence. We rolled out a company officer development program to prepare the future leaders of the Falls Township Fire Company number 1. And our new initiative and a great accomplishment is our in-station staffing program. We had 59 shifts staffed with 1,534 hours of coverage. We're working to transition from home-based responses to in-station staffing to improve our staffing and response times. And that's going to be one of our major goals for 2025, to increase that. On April 26, 1976, unfortunately, we suffered a line of duty death of Gary Von Hoffman at the St. George's Diner. Von died in the line of duty while operating on box 3041, was transmitted at 0034 hours for the St. George's Diner. While operating inside, a flashover occurred, and unfortunately, Von died in the line of duty. We'd just like to note that we never forget him, and each year on April 26th, we remember our brother Von. Grants. This year, we secured $947,500 in grant money. These grants will be used for the following: assist in purchasing the new ladder 30. That was from a PA LSA grant. 25 new sets of turnout gear from a FEMA Aid to Firefighter grant. Firehouse renovations from a Waste Management Community grant. 4 portable battery-powered saws from the Wawa Foundation. And an overall debt reduction grant from the Office of the State Fire Commissioner from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We have secured $2,434,087 in grants since 2021. Fire prevention is a big thing we do. This year, we went to 10 schools and daycare centers to share fire prevention with 1,500 students, faculty, and staff during Fire Prevention Week. We're a part of the community, our community outreach. Falls Township Touch a Truck, open house on Fallsington Day during Fire Prevention Week. And our Santa detail, which we've been doing since the 50s. This year we collected 2,800 pounds of food during the Santa detail to distribute to local pantries. Here's our goals moving forward for 2025. Our goal is to keep providing excellent fire rescue services to Falls Township, to continue our partnership with the Falls Township Supervisors, move towards in-station staffing to continue to improve staffing and response times, pursue additional grants, continue our strategic planning process. Everything that's represented in this report actually has been the last 6 years of strategic planning through our committee. Groundbreaking approximate 1st, 2025 for our $2.3 million firehouse renovation, which we hope to see you all there. We are getting delivery of 3 new fire trucks between the spring and fall of 2025. And we're also going to begin to prepare for our 100th anniversary in 2028. So, we're proud to be here before the board, and we would entertain any questions any of the board members have at this time. The nuns taught me well, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions, comments?
No questions. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, board. Thank you again.
Just look at the picture.
Oh, sure. Everybody come on up.
All the hands to take. All the hands. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that takes us to our 2024 annual fire marshal.
Hello, everyone. I know where time is limited. I'll try and keep this to less than 10 minutes. I have John up here because John puts this together for me every year, and in case there's anything wrong, I can blame him. Our department consists of 4 people this year. Our longtime clerk, Pat DeFrancisco, retired. I don't know, she had probably 40 years, and she retired back in April. Some of the responsibilities that we take on, or I take on as Director of Emergency Services, conduct fire investigations, plan reviews for all protection systems, oversee all emergency management operations, supervise the fire inspectors, respond to fire calls during the day, do an annual budget, and attend training to maintain our certifications. The fire inspectors do a lot of, we'll go through the numbers, but they do inspections of every building, every school, every church in the township. They also respond to fire calls. They inspect all newly installed fire systems. They follow up on every call from the night before. They assist with all my investigations and emergency management operations, and they also have to train to make sure they keep up their certifications. Also, I'd like to mention any pictures you see here are actual items that happen in Falls Township. For the year of 2024, we did 36 fire investigations. The fire inspections that were done for the year were 1,212, and they also inspected over 25 million square foot of building. The inspections went down slightly, but you'll see that the actual increase in footage from 20,000 or 20 million to 25 million, which was like a 25% increase. Most of this was attributed to North Point. This is one of their buildings down there. Most of them are 1 million square feet, give or take. And that's the difference in the square footage from the 2 years. We respond, as I said, to every incident during the day to help supplement the volunteer companies. That's when manpower is at its least, so we all respond to different stations to help man the apparatus. In the year 2024, we responded to 614 fire incidents. Some of the responses we go to can be structure fires, vehicle accidents, rescues, water, vehicle fires, you name it, medical. We assist the EMS system with medical emergencies and any other kind of special service call. The staff this year responded to 614 calls. This actually was a daytime job when we were working down in one of the mobile home parks. The responses by company, as Bob Hedden said, 30s did 731, 31s did 582, and Levittown did 360. These numbers are fairly consistent over the years. Total was 1,673 incidents for 2024. We also have the assistance of the Public Works employees when they're available. There's 4 members currently that work in Public Works that respond when they're able to. We did 250 follow-ups from calls from the night before, which are important to make sure the violations or the problems with the systems have been rectified and we don't have habitual calls at a certain place. That averages, I guess, about 1 a day. Fire protection systems, these are some of the different tests that we perform. There's rough inspections, hydrostat testing, and a final inspection of every system. These are just numbers by the different systems of the different inspections that were done. The total for the year was about 124, and that includes fire alarms, sprinkler systems, final inspections. We do also miscellaneous inspections, which can be enforcement or complaints from residents, chimney liners, food trucks, tent inspections, Knox box, keys, courtesy inspections. Someone asks us to come out and take a look at something for them. And we also assist the code department in some of their complaints. We did 128 miscellaneous complaints for the year. The re-inspections, we did 1,212 annual inspections. We also did over 1,000 re-inspections. Most businesses or places of business require a follow-up. Very rarely do we walk in and not see something that needs to be corrected. Incident pre-planning. This is something that the guys have taken on, doing incident pre-planning of every building in the township. This was through a grant that we received for the software. And we share these pre-plans with all other EMS providers, the police, fire, squad. Emergency management is something we've taken on. We try and anticipate any hazards that may occur in the township and prepare for them to the best of our abilities. Some of the big events that we try and prepare for and create an incident plan or the prom, graduation, touch a truck, family festival. These are some of the larger gatherings that we have throughout the township during the year. We also respond and man these as an extra level of, help should something happen. The fire prevention and safety training that we do, we offer different types of training. We do the smoke simulator. We assist when asked with the police for Alice. We do live fire extinguisher. We do safety training for any business or daycare that asks us to. We do all fire drills of schools to observe their drill and to give them any recommendations we may have. And we also do smoke detector installation and inspection. That goes around year round. As a matter of fact, I think we hit 2 places today and changed smoke detectors. The fire prevention, as I said, this was one of the visits we went to one of the schools, just happened to be my grandson's class where we were joking with the kids, but they really enjoy it. They get to see the trucks up close. They get to crawl through our smoke trailer. And we try and lessen their fears because, it's a scary thing when you're calling for help like that. The smoke trailer is that non-hazardous material. You can see the kids crawling through. We teach them to get low and go, to actually climb under the smoke if it were to really happen to them. Just some shots of our fire extinguisher training. We've done this at numerous places through the year. We trained 266 people in multiple businesses this year that called and asked for fire extinguisher training. Also, every daycare has to have an annual inspection, an annual training that will respond to all the daycares in the township. As I said, the smoke detector that we did this year, or in 2024, we went to 32 different places and installed over 90 smoke detectors. One of the big things we're proud of is the year-long food drive that we do. Special thanks to Waste Management in North Park who have partnered with us. This year we estimate that we did over 6,000 pounds of food to 27 different deliveries to 3 or 4 different food pantries in the township. And if anybody ever wants to donate, we're happy to come get it. Contact is on the bottom there. They can call me, they can email me, and we're happy to come get it. Revenues, it's never been, we're not here to make a profit, but these are revenues for the department. For 2024, we brought in almost $400,000, and that goes for fire inspections, plan reviews, all the permit fees, and any kind of fire reports that are requested. This is the amount of the different inspections and emergency calls that we went to. We almost went to 3,500. That includes the fire inspections, re-inspections, fire calls, follow-ups, etc. So that's quite a lot for 4 of us in the department. And with that, I kept it at 10 minutes like I promised. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Rich. Any questions from board members?
No, great report, thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rich, are you still doing the fire academy? I know you were doing some.
No, I did it for a few years, and then the interest wasn't there. I didn't have anybody. I figured I'll let it go for a few years and see if we gather interest again and do it again.
And membership drives, do you work hand in hand with our local different stations and help promote membership within the community through your websites and social media with the township? Or do they do it individually on their own?
They all do it individually, but if something comes out, we always share each other's. There's a career fair that we attend, trying to push membership for the different departments. We work hand in hand when we can.
Thank you.
Rich, I was going to ask you to just comment because it was kind of new on our fee schedule for 2025 this year. It's ever evolving back from the summer. Can you just touch base a little bit on the food truck inspections?
Oh, the food truck? Sure. Yeah, they're becoming so popular that we thought it was in our best interest to inspect these trucks that are coming into town for safety reasons. It's not a money grab. It's just something we're trying to do to keep everybody safe. There are certain requirements that are now in the International Fire Code that specifies how close they can be, what they should have. There's different requirements that weren't in the codes prior. So now, with that being said, we're just following the fire code and doing an inspection to make sure they have their extinguisher, their hoods are clean, suppression works, they're not on top of one another, kids are not going to get burned on a generator, it's exposed, things of that nature. But it is in the fire code that we started.
And I just want to comment, I came through, happened to be present for a couple, and the food truck, the owners of the food trucks were very receptive, some joking around, it was a friendly, bunch of friendly inspections, so it was nice to see the
Quite
interaction.
frankly, I think they expected it because there were other municipalities that had done it prior to us, and it just so happened we were at the end of the cycle.
Yeah.
That when we started doing it, they said, oh yeah, we've gone through it, and I won't name the municipalities, but they've done it elsewhere. They expect it. They expect the Board of Health.
Yeah.
So, and it's a safety thing.
Yeah,
Make sure everybody stays safe. That's all.
thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that takes us to the 2024 Annual Police Department Report.
That arrow right there.
Thank you. Good evening. This is our 2024 annual report. Our goals for this year, 2025, are to proactively address crime trends and community needs through monthly goal setting. We do this at the leadership meetings that we conduct every month with our sergeants. Continued emphasis on training and hiring of new police personnel. Looking back at 2024, our Adopt a Cop program continued to be a success. It's well regarded by both students and staff at the schools in the township. We regularly have a presence at our schools, and we're consistently received with enthusiastic welcomes from the students at the schools and the staff. Shop with a Cop, so this is our second year being invited to participate along with Middletown Township Police. This is a program that Middletown Township has been doing for a very long time. The Middletown Township Police Department has been a great partner to us, in addition to allowing us to come here for these meetings. They have, over the decades that I've served the community, been great to work with, and we're grateful to be invited along with Shop a Cop. You can see some of our officers there with some of the citizens and children. It was a very nice event. Coffee with a Cop. We conduct this regularly throughout the township. It gives an opportunity for citizens to meet with our police officers in a low-stress environment and just interact as people. We consistently, again, enjoy meeting people under these kind of circumstances where there's no crisis to resolve, there's no call for service. It's just a chance to meet and talk about our families, talk about what we can do to help make people and their lives better in Falls Township. We actually did one at the Giant supermarket that you could see there, which was interesting. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but it went very well. We'll definitely come back. Our Youth Police Academy is our summer 10-day program. We conduct this at no cost to the families. We graduated approximately 30 cadets. It's a chance for young people to learn a little bit about law enforcement and a lot really about themselves and who they are as people, what the value of their family is, how they can contribute to their family, and how they can develop themselves as leaders both in their family and in the community in the future. We actually talk more about character than we do about anything else at our Youth Police Academy. Martin Luther King Day this past year, we spent it with students and staff at Pennsbury West. This was an opportunity to have discussions with people about not only honoring Dr. King's legacy, but talking about important social issues. National Night Out is the first Tuesday in August every year. You can see this year we had various different dignitaries. Mr. Harvey came back to join us, our district attorney. It was a well-attended event. It was fun for everybody, and we will continue to participate in a National Night Out. Our Girl Scout troop, I said this last year, and I'll say it again for emphasis, they are the kindest group of people. They bring us cookies. They donate teddy bears for members of the community that might be experiencing a scary event. They're just always there for us. They always have a smile on their faces, and we always are willing to welcome them wherever we are. Project Dash was our first, this was our first year running this project to collect various different items for the homeless. We collected over 5,416 items that we were able to give to local organizations to distribute to the population for people that experience food and housing insecurity. So it was nice to contribute to that. Bucks County really is a great place for people who are experiencing housing and food insecurity. There are so many organizations out there that help, and this past year in 2024, we partnered with them to kind of make our own contribution. Bucks County Prevention Day. We really do work hard in the Falls Township Police Department to interact with the other parts of the criminal justice community, the social service community, so that we are bringing the best programs to people here in Falls Township. Every year, the county conducts Prevention Day, and you see service providers from all different kinds of organizations up there that are all there. We're all there united by one common purpose, which is to help people. This was me talking about our co-responder program, along with our co-responder, Kara, and her boss from the county. So our partnership with Pennsbury has always been something that we take great pride in. They're an important stakeholder in the community, and I couldn't possibly list all the different ways that we interact with the Pennsbury School District on a regular basis. But one of them is the Senior Assembly. This is held right before the annual prom, where I have an opportunity to talk to young people who are about to go to their prom, who are going to have a lot of fun, about safe ways to have fun and not getting themselves in trouble. It's a nice assembly. And I have to tell you, I've been surprised the past 3 years. I get a standing ovation at the end. You know, where can you go to a high school in America as a uniformed police officer and get a standing ovation? I could tell you one place, Pennsbury High School. Great people. So in line with the school district, you know, we started to look at the Pennsylvania Youth Survey results. The Pennsylvania Youth Survey has been conducted every other year since 1989, and the Pennsbury School District participates in it. They collect data from 4 different grades, and we were able to look at this data and collectively kind of assess it to determine, are there areas that we can improve our programs, that we can improve our outreach, to get the perspectives of young people through this anonymous survey and kind of build it into our strategic planning as to how we can interact and better help the student community. The Reentry Coalition, so Bucks County has a Reentry Coalition. In fact, I have another meeting with them tomorrow. We meet quarterly. And the idea here is to help people prepare to reenter our community and society after being incarcerated and succeed. So that we're trying to prepare them to succeed, to not reoffend, but to be connected with services and help so that they can have a better life. And I think, you know, the police department's involvement with this is something that I'm very proud of. In 2024, we had our first Bucks County Co-Responder Symposium. It was attended by about 100 people over at the Bucks County Community College. And our co-responder, Kara, and I did a presentation on a case that Kara handled where she was able to help someone who had been struggling with mental health their entire adult life and had really had a bad situation with their family. They were subject to arrest. It was really headed down a tragic road, and through her diligence in connecting this family with services and just caring about them and helping them, we were able to get to a point where the family is just so happy that we were there to help, and this person has a job now. You know, they're doing better in terms of medication and the other services they're connected with. So it was a nice success story to share with the assembled guests at the Bucks County Co-Responder Symposium. Another initiative that we're involved with the county is a child abduction response team. Bucks County is in the beginning stages of forming a child abduction response team, and our police department is one of more than a dozen that's involved with the initial stages of this. We all attended a training in 2024 to discuss what the next step in that, they call it a CART, in that child abduction response team will be for Bucks County. That's a nightmare for parents to have a child abducted. It's one of those things that keeps you awake at night if you work in my kind of job. And it's one of those things that we can't get wrong if it happens. So being trained, working with partners, and knowing what kind of resources we have available to us should that kind of event arise is extremely important for us all. So Officer Hall took over our youth aid panel last year, and he did such a good job, he got himself an award. So this is the youth aid panel banquet, and Scott getting an award for his good work. The youth aid panel is a great program for young people who find themselves in minor contact with law enforcement. It's an opportunity for us to kind of work with them to help set them straight and, you know, not have a small incident with law enforcement turn into something that is a defining moment for a young person's life. I continue to do active shooter training. The Peace Center in the county have asked me to do this. This particular event was at Pennsbury High School West, but I've been asked to go to different parts of the county, central and north, to conduct this training. These are the warning signs for someone who may be on the pathway to commit an act of targeted violence. These are the events that obviously we don't want to happen, but that happen all across the United States with increasing frequency. And I think this is a very important outreach program that we have and that we offer the community. So we train as an agency a great deal to prepare our people to manage critical incidents. Managing critical incidents is something that has to be trained. They're perishable skills in order for especially our leadership, our frontline supervision and command personnel, to have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to manage a critical incident is something that doesn't just come naturally in law enforcement. There are many agencies that don't focus on this, and the incidents that take place in those communities end up in after-action reports that point out all the failings of the department to prepare for these things. You have to prepare for them ahead of time. Here you can see several of our officers going through a scenario-based training and a decision-making training on how to manage these incidents so that you can have confidence that anybody with supervisory rank in the police department can manage that incident for the first 15 minutes, the first 60 minutes, until additional assistance arrives to help manage that. And a great example of that was the tragic homicide that we had back in March. We're all familiar with this event. I won't go into it, but I will say that the supervision personnel that were working did an outstanding job in managing that incident and keeping the community safe. It was a dynamic, difficult situation that took hours to get a grip on, and you could be proud that your Falls Township Police Department and its officers handled this very well. Some employee updates. So the Crisis Intervention Team program, it's an important program teaching officers how to deal with individuals who are having a mental health related incident. We're all aware of the incidents in the United States across the country where somebody's having a mental health crisis and law enforcement shows up and kills the patient. This is not something that we want to have happen. CIT training has been credited with turning that trend around. We train officers every year in CIT training. Last year we were fortunate enough to train 5. It's a week-long, 40-hour course. It isn't easy, but it does prepare officers to deal successfully with individuals who are having a crisis. And the Veterans Response Team. So this is another program that's relatively new in Bucks County. We have several officers that are part of it. Here you can see Corporal White doing a video for the Veterans Response Team. Corporal White is a Coast Guard veteran, and the idea of the program is to help veterans who are experiencing a crisis, who are involved perhaps with law enforcement, maybe getting subject to contact with the criminal justice system, officers who are veterans helping veterans. We've always been extremely supportive of our veteran community and very proud of them. So if somebody who is a United States veteran is experiencing a problem, we're happy to be able to help them. And the Veterans Response Team is our newest way of doing that. We had Police Academy graduates last year. These 2 officers are currently in field training. Lieutenant Belinsky retired after 40 years of service to the Falls Township Police Department. I was saying this to some of my colleagues from the fire company earlier, there aren't too many of us left from the 80s. Karen retired at court after 31 years. And Detective McPherson, after serving us for approximately 10 years, went on to become a detective for the Bucks County District Attorney's Office. So we're very proud of Ron. We wish him well. He's already investigating things with us on the behalf of the District Attorney's Office. That was a proud moment for him and for us. A little bit of some crime trends. The 5-year overdose rate, it had been declining steadily. It appears to be leveling out. We had just under 40 overdoses total in 2024. Calls for service, we had a little bit over 20,000, I believe it was 20,800 and change we had in calls for service last year in 2024. Our accidents were a little higher than they've been the last several years, just a little under 1,200 car crashes. Truck enforcement, as you know, I've got Sergeant Finelli out there conducting proactive traffic enforcement, including truck enforcement. Last year, there were 523 citations written and 540 warnings. And I could tell you from talking to Waste Management that they've noticed that we're out there. The trucking community responds when we're aggressive in truck enforcement, and they've definitely noticed a change. Just a brief look ahead. As I stated last year, this year is our 75th anniversary of a police department. We were officially formed in 1950 by Chief Franklin Kirby, who had the building next to our old headquarters. His house was headquarters before they built headquarters. So this year we hope to have several events to celebrate our 75th anniversary as a police department. Falls definitely beat us, that fire company, at 100 years, but hey, 75 isn't too bad either. Training, I talked about this. This is something that we constantly reinforce. Our officers are extremely well trained. However, we realize that some of these skills are perishable if they're not reinforced on a regular basis. When the time comes for an officer to use these skills, we want them to use them successfully. So that's something we take very seriously in Falls Township. We want our officers to be well trained and well supported to do their jobs. We conduct meetings every month, and in these meetings this year, we're talking to sergeants and looking at what's happening out in the community and defining goals for the next month. So things change throughout the year. Problems arise. opportunities to solve those problems, open and close, and those are the things that we talk about. We try to look to the community to see what's happening out there, what do our people need us to do to help them, and those are things that we talk about every month and then go out there and execute and measure our ability to help people with whatever it is that's coming. Whether years ago it was catalytic converter thefts, that we don't really see much of anymore. These things do change over time, and we try to adapt to that quickly. So hiring, one of our goals is to hire. We have vacancies. We are running our own exam, and we hire decent people. This is a great place to work. I can tell anybody that's listening at home, if you want to be a police officer, this is a great community to work in. The people who live in Falls Township make us feel loved and supported. We can interact with them. They'll send us food. During the pandemic, there wasn't a week that went by that you weren't getting multiple deliveries of food. Sometimes we're giving food to the homeless shelter because we have too much food. This is truly a great town to work in and a great place to spend a law enforcement career. And we're doing a community survey, so this will be out. It's out on our social media already. It'll be out in the township newsletter. We'd like to hear from everybody in the township. It's a simple thing to do. You can do it right on your phone with the QR code. There are 16 questions. You'll be through it in a few minutes, but it's a chance for us to get feedback from our citizens. We always want to hear from our citizens. We value what our citizens have to say. So this is a chance for us to get some feedback directly from them, and I look forward to the results of this survey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Chief?
Yeah, Chief, we spoke briefly about it, but after that incident last year, the parade committee, St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee would like to honor the supervisor on staff that day and the police department for the response, for keeping us all out of harm's way. Of course, it was a crazy morning. And you had a lot to deal with, but the way that all of you did, and the surrounding police forces as well, like the motorcycle cops from Ben Salem, the way everybody coordinated immediately and looked after the safety of everyone along New Falls Road. So, yeah, we'd like to recognize the supervisor who was in charge, as well as your department. And my team would like to meet, we did discuss this briefly, meet with you regarding security for this year's parade. Of course, in light of what happened with us last year and the recent events, the tragedy in New Orleans. And Rich, I'd like to know that, like with Pennsbury Prom and the Touch a Truck event, that you have something in place for this event as well, okay? I don't know how much service we can do, but as long as we're all aware, it worked out last year, and thank God. But again, Chief, in the coming weeks, if there's an available time slot, we'll get together, and we have like 3 or 4 members of my team that would like to meet with you, okay?
Absolutely. Be happy to do that. And you're right, it was a great team effort. We had a staging area at Pennsbury High School with about 90 different officers from jurisdictions all over Bucks County. If anybody needs help in Bucks County, they can rest assured that not only will their local police department be there, but they'll get help from everybody else. It was a great team effort.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
No, thank you. Good report.
All right.
Thank you.
That takes us to item number 1. All right, hold on. 1 minute.
Smart.
Trying to get something. That was all ready to go. Yeah, I guess you can comment on the executive session, Mr. Clark.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dent. The board held an executive session on January 17th to discuss personnel. The board also held an executive session prior to this evening's meeting to discuss several personnel matters, a matter of litigation, to receive information from Ms. Gallagher and I regarding tax collector resolution and insurance broker. No votes were taken and no deliberations occurred. The board also received information from the Director of Administration for the Bucks County Emergency Health Services regarding rescue squad coverage. Again, no votes were taken and no deliberations occurred.
All right, thank you. That takes us to item number 2, public comment. Jennifer Metzger is the first name on the list. Keep in mind, we're 5 minutes per person, 45 minutes max. Good evening.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to try to keep it brief because we are planning on attending the Planning Commission meeting tomorrow to cover Pennsbury School District's build, at least their plan for the sketch plan that we had mentioned to you previously. Going to go over some of the basics of the concerns that we do have, however, because I want to make sure that you are very aware that you're still the decision makers in this process. The Planning Commission is going to make some decisions, what they think, put together some recommendations, and send it back to you. So it will be up to your board to allow this to move forward or not. I am glad to hear how wonderful Bucks is dealing with people who are unhoused and homeless, because with the extreme amount of money that each of us from the 32,000 households is spending on Pennsbury School District for taxes, a lot of people are losing their homes. So that's important. Glad to hear it. Concerned about the height of the school. So to give you a little bit of background, they're intending on taking basically PHS West, that is on South Olds, and basically taking that footprint and putting it up into a smaller 35-acre space on top of Hood Boulevard. Basically the only open space you see when you drive past Pennsbury East and West.
Gravel lot, is that? Gravel parking lot?
Yeah, where the gravel parking lot is, all the way down to where the end of the stadium would be, up in the top of Hood Boulevard. There are some concerns with that, aside from using virgin, unadulterated ground that is wet, and they have done the study to show that there is no bedrock 20 feet down. Not understanding why they would do that. The majority of problems that the school has had for both PHS West and East, West is the South Olds, East is the one that's up on Hood Boulevard now, closer down towards Burger King. There are water problems. That's what it's been. It's been water problems for years. All of us have it. The 300 houses that surround the Pennsbury High School ground, there's about 130 acres there. So you have houses that surround it, and then you have houses that are literally right behind those. If you'll remember when there was a discussion for the YMCA moving from Bristol Township to Falls Township, they were talking about going on that small piece of land on Carolyn Lake between South Olds and the lake, and there were a ton of discussions. That's preservation land, so it has its own issues that probably saved us the majority of the trouble. But a lot of it was water. A lot of it was the fact that there's already flooding in that Bristol Township neighborhood directly behind the lake off of South Olds, and there's already flooding with the schools. Now, they actually have a list of deficiencies that they're experiencing for East and West's buildings. 75% of those are all water problems. They haven't dealt with them over the last 25 years. And I only speak to 25 of the 75 because I attended 25 years ago. And I was in the school when we were having problems with leaking roofs and mildew, and forget the asbestos and lead because we don't know. Sure, it's there. Long story short, problem is this. They haven't done any of these fixes. They've ignored them, which has now taken the problem from bad to Pennsbury East is a knockdown. Even if you were going to reconfigure West and combine some of those strange hallways that have all these extra doors that basically have dead ends throughout the school, if you're going to reconfigure that, you have more than enough room to house all of the kids on campus. But Pennsbury East at this point is so bad because they haven't done any of the maintenance over the years that it actually has to be knocked down and rebuilt if you're going to use that. I propose that because you have all of that land on that half of the 130 acres from Village Park all the way to Pennsbury East that's already been perked. It's already solid. We already have foundation. We don't have to worry about the fact that 20 feet down on Hood Boulevard, they are literally finding sand and silt at best, mostly just water. So to me, please understand when this comes back to you, this is extremely important. I'm very concerned because aside from the height issues, the water table issues, the environmental impact, you guys allowed them to put down synthetic turf on those fields that are in that 130 acres. Why does that matter? Why do I care? Well, here's the thing. It's a plastic carpet. I'm not even kidding. Literally, there is lead found in the grass blades to make it pretty and shiny and all the things. You also are understanding that there's tires that are used, recycled tires as the infill to make it scooshier when they put that carpet down. It's impervious. I do not understand how it is that the school is allowed to have, now they're building a second synthetic field in their review for next, am I past my 5 minutes? Okay, well, we'll lay it out for the planning commission tomorrow. But my issue is when the petition was done for the lake, there were 4,000 residents, which is a lot, given that Falls Township only had 8,000 at the time, that were against it. Say it again. And so our concern is if we need to do that for you, to get you a water petition, to get you, the people that are concerned about it or not, we'll do that. But we need to know what you require from us, because at this point, to us, it's extremely obvious why these are dangerous things, and we just don't understand where there's confusion right now. Thank you. You're next.
There's a fake name on the list.
It's not fake. It's a legal name.
That's your legal name?
It's a legal name.
What is it?
What a wrong man?
Say it. And say it loud and proud.
Okay, I apologize, I assume.
Uh-huh. I had a problem at the Pennsbury board.
Yeah, I didn't mean any disrespect, but,
God bless you then.
I saw what a man.
Apology accepted. I come from Newark, New Jersey. I've been in the township for 35 years. You all should know about what PFAS is. I worked at DuPont Pharmaceuticals. I did not smoke the Teflon cigarettes they gave volunteers. It killed all of them. You will hear a lot of people come up to you and talk to you about what PFAS is and polyfluorinated compounds. You should know that it's very critical that you know about it, because the kids that are playing in it, the cricket field that they put down in Walt Disney is going to kill the kids down there. The kids can't use it. It's for adults. Pennsbury put up the PFAS field. All you have to do is look at it. When they're playing, you'll see a little fog. As they're playing, that little fog is the PFAS and stuff that they're smelling to get cancer. So you may live about 75 years old, maybe 85. Your kids, after you're dead, your kids will come in there and wonder, well, why did you give us artificial turf? We only live until 60 years old. Because they're going to die of cancer, testicular cancer, or breast cancer. You should look it up. California is putting bans on artificial turf. Boston is putting bans on artificial turf. Fetterman is signing legislation about artificial turf. Why are you all putting this artificial crap? Why? Condoms have PFAS in them. Your bloomers and your drawers and your bra and your dental floss has PFAS in it. You're all killing yourselves. You all may live a little bit longer than your kids, but your kids are going to die because of your decisions you're making. Sun, space, and greenery are the three joys of urbanism. Wash, rinse, repeat, lie, cheat, and steal, deny, delay, depose. It's all destruction. This is Pennsbury School Board monitoring, masking humanity. I got to get that right. Humanity. For a shiny new object, PSD411.net will give you a lot of information, as well as PSD411.info will give you a lot of information on your PFAS and how you're killing your kids. The shiny new object, they want to turn urbanism into metropolis, our new engineered reality, brick city, a sneaky tax trap whispering affordability, but stabs you in the back with property tax and increases at maximum allowed by Pennsylvania Department of Education, 5.3% in 2004. This is the size of a $500 monthly car payment. This is new quality of life is to socialize in a small bird flu consolidated footprint called the new Pennsbury High School. This new Petri dish includes swimming pool, 8 lanes, and a synthetic athletic breathing field. Your kids will really love that, won't they? All that cancer-causing phthalates and volatile organic compounds. You know what any of that is? Well, if you don't, you should read on the internet. You all should know chemistry, because the Pennsbury School Board has a fake doctor on the board. All of you all should know about that, especially you, solicitor. You met me in 2009. You remember me? No, you don't. Look it up, buddy. You stopped my children from going to Pennsbury High School, 4 of them, and I lived right across the street. That's how you disrespected me. Linda Pawsky as well. Gary Campbell as well. And Taylor, Sherwood Taylor, all of them. I have a history here, buddy. How much time? Woo-hoo. Detention, mindful minute, let me see. This new building will be a new ghetto eyesore built on virgin land with no bedrock. This flawed jewel will be a monument to our brick city, a floating slab of concrete metropolis jungle that will institutionalize K through 12 attention or detention, mindful moment, mindful minute, to conform and be obedient to teachers, school administrators without PhDs or with PhDs or medical degrees for handouts, remaining blue-collar, low-information Pennsbury District PSYOP. The PSYOP continues to springboard into Senate positions serving critical thinking socialites. That's where you're going with everybody on the Pennsbury School Board. You turning red for a reason? No. Oh, you sleepy? Oh, all right. I got more, but I don't want to, I'm going to take the rest up with Pennsbury. How long you give me, 5 minutes?
5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, God bless everybody. I have more, PSD411.net or PSD411.info. Please look it up. God bless you all. Robert, you're up.
Robert Abrams, Lower Makefield Township, but this has to do with New Pennsbury High School in Falls Township. Mr. Jones, I don't know what you were given, but at the last facilities meeting in January, I'm understanding, I stepped out of the room, that the architect said he's never done so much resketching in his life. Which is telling me that what you got to review on October 9th is nothing that building's going to look like. But that's for you to check, and I'll get into it with you during your report. There's new things on here. Now they want to put an administration building in. When we went to a planning meeting at Pennsbury High School West, the approximate number of students now at Pennsbury for the 2 high schools is 2,850. So I asked the question, well, how many employees will have to go in and out of that building? The answer I got was approximately 500. So now you're at 3,300 people. Now they want to put another administration building in, which is absolutely ridiculous because they have an administration building. So what is this feeding, or why? It doesn't make any sense. But now you have to add another 200 or 300 people. God bless you. Okay, so now you're coming up close to 4, and now you're going to have 110 school buses, which is what they're running now. So you're going to have 110 school bus drivers all coming over to this one campus. You're going to have 4,000 people coming to this facility 180 days at least per year. Are you going to tell me that South Olds Boulevard and Hood Boulevard can handle that kind of traffic? Not possible. And they're building it on, I guess, what I would call silt. It's going to sink. If it's not going to sink, it's going to eventually come up with some serious, serious problems. And then what do you do for a high school? You have nothing. Cost. It's going to have to be 30-year bonds. Mr. Berdnick, who's the business manager, says he wants $500 million now, $565 million now, and he wants to totally borrow another $500 million on top of that. Now, understand they're wrap bonds, so basically all they're doing is paying the interest and keep paying the interest, and they keep rotating and rotating, and the taxpayers keep paying the interest. Well, 30-year bonds on $1 billion at 5% is $2.5 billion to the Pennsbury community. You're losing a landfill about the same amount of time that the high school is going to open. Waste management contributes in host community fees 47% today, a little over 47% of your total budget. And we just watched how many more things waste management contributes to that when the landfills close, you won't get. So that means the taxes in Falls Township will at least have to double, but probably be 2.5 or 3 times what they are now. Okay, on top of paying back the bonds of $2.5 billion. I put in today a right to know for a presentation September 2nd, 2021 at the Facilities Committee by Dewey Engineering, Inc. For a rehab for West and an expansion and knockdown East, which include a state-of-the-art fire suppression system and 4 years of inflation up until the end of 2024. That was estimated at $99 million. This project, Mr. Berdnick originally asked for $368 million plus for PFM to do a chart. Well, when we told him that it would have to go to referendum, he ran back to PFM 2 weeks later and said, make me another one, $301 million plus. Well, that's over the $300 million threshold. So he went back 2 weeks later and asked PFM to do another one, and then it became $250 million. Now, understand that the $99 million program to rehab the rest of West is almost identical to what North Penn is doing and the expansion. And that will pretty much have 521,000 square feet plus. I didn't bring the sheet with me. What they're talking about building now is 475. Why would you build less at 3 or 4 times the cost? It doesn't make it, none of this is making any sense at all to anybody.
You pass your 5.
That's why I did 2. I wanted to do this week and next week so that I didn't.
Thank you.
Mr. Abrams, can you stay there for a second?
Sure. Oh,
Did I get you straight? They're moving the whole entire Pennsbury bus fleet to that campus? They're going to leave Charles Bain Middle School bus campus?
Yeah, I think there's about 50
They're going
buses
to move
there.
Fallsington bus campus?
all
Now
gonna
they
be-
have a third of the buses at East. They're going to put them all in that campus now?
That's what they want to do.
What about the renovations with the old administration building? They just redone that
Not too long ago.
a year or two ago.
They
3
want to
years,
build,
maybe.
according to the planning commission thing here for tomorrow night, the agenda, they want to build a new administration building.
Okay, thank you.
And that's not, I guess that's included in the $1 billion of borrowing they want, 1 billion plus they want to borrow. I have no idea. It's not explained to us. But I do have, actually, I'll send you the 3 PFM sheets. They're dated.
Mr. Jones, who does that traffic evaluation? Because I don't know how all that's going to handle in those neighborhoods, all them buses.
Our review will suggest that they submit a traffic analysis with their land development submission, and the township traffic engineer, I'm sure, will say the same thing. The applicant would have to hire their own consultant to perform that study, and that study would have to be in accordance with the township traffic engineers.
Our traffic engineer will do a study, is what we're getting.
No, their consultant will do a study, and it'll be subject to the conditions set by our traffic engineer.
Okay.
And they'll have to submit, they possibly will have to submit something to PennDOT if there's alterations to the PennDOT road entrance.
Go ahead, Brooke,
Thank you.
1 second. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Just, my concern is if you're going to ask them to do a
We're
traffic
not
study
asking
or
them, it's
something to compare.
required. It's with the land development.
I appreciate that. My problem is we asked them for the copy of the water study, and they said, no, they hadn't done it. What they're doing is, when they're doing these studies, they're burying them in stacks of paperwork so that they don't have to show that the results were bad. So that's what they did with the water. That's
Well,
what
you're
they
not
did
really
with the
comparing
traffic.
apples to apples for when it comes
They
to our
buried
land
it.
development process. They will have to provide a, all
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
appreciate
standard,
that.
yeah.
Thank you.
right, so Frank Bray?
Good evening, Frank Bray, 17 Oak Lane, Fairless Hills. I'm here on the plans that has been going on since August 29th, 2023, to develop the old Lincoln Garage junkyard, or that's what I call it anyway, that's what it's been for years, on a parcel that is approximately 2 7/8 of an acre.
Yeah.
And the builder wants to have everything exempt on back settings, back places, coming up to our backyards. There's an old paper road that runs from Route 1 down to Trenton Road. It's approximately 40 foot wide. And for some reason, the developer thinks that belongs to him. As far as I know, which nobody has told me anything different, that road belongs to Falls Township, I'm assuming. Because old man Bellardo did not own the paper road. Apparently, years ago, he put the paper road in for subdividing 100 years later. He wants to put in 84 units on approximately 2 7/8 acres. I was looking at the plans today. From the plans almost 2 years ago, nothing has changed. The only thing has changed from us going to the board, he wanted a 3-story building, but we got it to go for 2-story, and he still wants all the back settings and everything to be eliminated. When the zoning board told him no, from what I understand, he tried to sue Falls Township for saying he is being picked on, because you guys, in your ordinance, we need 231 parking places. He only has enough parking places for 148 cars. And at 48 units, if we have 55 and older, which hopefully both spouses are still there, I mean, you got 168 people. With 2 cars, that's 236 cars. Where is the grandkids supposed to park when they come see grandmom and grandpop? On Trenton Road or on Route 1? It's ridiculous on what they want you guys to give up or give into. The way it looks to me is that my property backs right up to it. I got approximately 7/8 of an acre. It's a double lot. If this is the way this unit is, then I can put 6 units on my property and don't have to worry about the parking. Because if I have 2 per 6, there's 18 people, and then that's 20-some cars. Well, I don't have room for 20 cars on my property. But the way this is reading, that's almost what it's telling me, that I could do that. So we really need to look at these plans and for you guys to stick to your guns and say, no, this is our rules, this is our laws, you have to have this amount parking. If that's the case, then you got to shrink your housing project down. Because it's almost like we got a 5-gallon bucket and trying to put 10 pounds of dirt in it. And where the overflow goes, who cares, apparently. Because it's going to create a lot of traffic hazard on Route 1 on the people coming off, and then trying to pull on Trenton Road. I'm assuming it's going to be a one-way like that. I don't know if you can pull back out on Route 1 and get down to the red light. But all the variances that he wants you guys to give up, like I said, I could put a 6-unit on my 7/8 of an acre there and say, well, I'll just take you to court.
Sorry, your 5 minutes is up, but you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You go ahead. What, do you have one more thing to say?
That's all. We need to stick to our guns. It's just too little of a lot to try and cram in 167 people.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Normally, we don't take agenda items during public comment. That's fine. We take the public comment during each agenda item, but you're fine. You're good. Tony Batiste?
Part of this is actually item 14 also, but it includes a docket number, and so I'm wondering, was there an actual court case?
What are we talking about here?
Number 14,
Oh, it was an appeal to the zoning hearing board.
yes, but it has a docket number, which
I don't know.
indicates a court case. And what was the result of that hearing?
Use your mic.
So there was no actual court decision other possibly to remand it back?
Correct.
That's correct. There was a conference with the judge to set a briefing schedule, but there was no hearing.
Okay, so then in the interim time after that court hearing, there was some kind of work being done on it, a compromise between the owner and the township or the various parts of the township?
With the
Because it
zoning
was
hearing board.
It was referred to at the zoning board
Yeah.
that factions of the township had worked on a compromise with this guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, that's what I got out of it. But at the same time, it doesn't look like there was much accomplished because what the plans are now is exactly what they were at the last planning meeting where it was brought up. And at that point, the only difference being it's 1-bedroom apartments instead of condos or 2 or 3-bedroom condos. It's still a shortage of parking spaces. There's still reduced setback from the neighbors on Oak. And there's now a 50-foot max for a 2-story building, which kind of seems really, really out of line. 50 foot for 2 stories? That's crazy. So why that? And I'm just thinking, was there any of the neighbors that were included in these talks with how to agree to, or make a compromise? I'm thinking not, and in that case, is that a sunshine violation?
No, because it's an appeal up to the Court of Common Pleas, and the only people who would be involved in the appeal would be those people who took party status at the appeal. If none of the neighbors took party status, then they wouldn't be notified, but any settlement would have to be approved by the zoning hearing board at a public meeting and would have to be approved by this board at a public meeting.
Okay. Okay, on another subject, on the engineer's report, does BOS approval with a date behind it, does that mean the Board of Supervisors approved a project?
No, we have dates that are put in, and it should say tentatively scheduled, but if the words approved are after the date, then I believe it was already approved previously. But if there's a date on something pending, then it's tentatively scheduled.
Okay, because it didn't say TBD, didn't say coming up, and it's a future date. That's why I'm asking.
And usually the content in the report will say it was approved on such and such a day, if that date is in fact the approval.
Okay. And once projects are approved, how long does the applicant have to begin the project?
For a land development,
Yeah.
they have, the approvals, once the plans are recorded, they have 5 years to act on the approvals, but they're typically working very closely with Mr. Jones's office to get all their permits in place. There's several agencies that have jurisdiction over any given project.
So it could be more than a year?
Yes.
Okay. And there's no bill list tonight?
All right, any other hands for public comment? Go ahead.
My name is Dennis Oski from 21 Oak Lane. I don't know of any place that has a front of a building facing private homes from the back. If this goes through, tell them to turn it around and face the other side. I mean, that's, you know, if any of you people lived on where we live, you wouldn't want it. It's not a mess to us. We like the trees, we like the woods, we like the animals that are in there and whatnot. But our privacy is being taken away. Our friends here, they have pools in their backyard. And you put a building up facing our backyard, that's just doesn't seem right. So turn it around. There's nothing over there except a car wash. If that has to go through. I remember it's in the report that he stood here and said, if the township says no, the zoning board, if you say no, I'll walk away. That was last year. Here we are. Just trying to, you know, try to be fair about it. You know, we live in Falls Township. We love it here, but that's going to take away our value of our homes if they build something like that in the back of it. It's just not fair, not right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Dent, members of the board, and anyone who's present who's interested in agenda item 14, all that's on the agenda tonight is to consider approving the settlement that the zoning hearing board negotiated with the applicant. If approved, and if the applicant decides to move forward with the project, it will have to go through land development. So it will have to come back before the board, and that is the time when issues regarding traffic and the orientation of the building and setbacks and things in lighting and things along those lines will be reviewed. This is simply the relief that they were seeking at the zoning hearing board. And again, the zoning hearing board negotiated this with the applicant.
All right, so you understand what he's saying. Basically, we're not agreeing to approving this project tonight. We're just agreeing to what they agreed to. they will have to come back before us. We've never seen detailed drawings. We had a concept, it's this tall, it's got this many parking spots, and that shrunk, we were told. So we're not approving the project anytime soon. I just want to be clear on that. That's non-lawyer talk for what he was trying to explain. But we're going to take a quick recess because we're done with public comment, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
contract for the crossing guard contract, I'm sorry. Mr. Clark?
So Mr. Takita actually did the bulk of the negotiation on this. But
So
this,
it's basically a contract between us and our crossing guards.
that's correct, and we've taken a look at it, and it is in a form ready for your approval this evening. Mr. Takita can go over the specifics of the changes this year.
The contract is essentially the same as the last 4 years, with the following exceptions. There's a 3.5% increase in wages across the 4-year contract.
Okay.
There will be appointment of a guard to the Township Safety Committee. There is language in there to make a full attempt to fill any vacant posts, and there's a $100 clothing allowance limit that has been put in the contract.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from board members?
No.
Mr. Galloway?
No.
No questions.
Any public comment needed? No hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's go, Mr. Dents. Item 4, consider of a resolution amending the 2024 fee schedule for the Fire Marshal's Office and Parks and Recreation Department. This is pretty straightforward, just changing our fee schedule around a little bit. Any questions or comments from board members?
No.
You know, one of our additions to the fee schedule we discussed, it was the new for food trucks. It was an addition this year.
Any other comments or questions? Any public comment needed? No hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Resolution 2025-5.
2025-5. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 5, consider bus quotes for the summer camp. You have Yellowbird at $15,125, David Thomas Transportation at $15,375, and First Student at $17,016.44. So it looks like Yellowbird is the low bidder.
They're the low bidder. However, we do a DOT, we look at a DOT report for all the companies after we get a quote, which basically is a safety report. They have some violations on there that we're not comfortable with. It's probably in that memo there, a couple driver violations and so forth. And we've been using David Thomas for the last 5 years, and their safety record's pretty impeccable.
It's only a $250 difference.
For $250 more, I recommend sticking with them. They work with us very well. We've submitted the paperwork to the solicitor's office, the agreements each year. So.
Thanks, Brian.
Mr. Clark?
The bidding threshold, you have 3 quotes, you can pick whoever you
All right.
want.
Any questions, Mr. Galloway?
No questions.
Mr. Brasky?
No.
Ms. Mullen?
No.
Is there any public comment needed? See no hands. Is there a motion to approve David Thomas Transportation at $15,375?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Galloway, will you pull the board?
Jeff Brasky.
Yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Item number 6, approval for a new slide for the Pinewood Pool.
Yes, this is a
This is
replacement.
crazy, $87,293.81.
That's with sales tax. That's coming off.
And that's with installation.
It
Any
does.
questions or comments from board members?
Andrew's going to tell us a little bit about.
No, I just wanted to give you a little history on the slide that we have now. It's 15 years old. It's seen better days, wear and tear. It's sort of like our playgrounds that we started replacing about 4 or 5 years ago. It's time to do it. And this particular model is very similar to what we have there. It has a dual slide, and it more importantly fits the footprint, which has been the challenge to find something that would fit the footprint. And I think this would be a great fit for the pool, and we should get some good longevity out of that slide. So, yeah.
Any questions or comments? Any public comment needed? See no hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
Jeff Brasky.
Yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Item
Brian,
six-
I just want to say good job on getting that.
Thank you.
That's a big difference from when we first had it.
Yeah, I think people are going to be excited. Thank you.
Consideration of authorization for advertisement for ordinance amending Chapter 168 Parks, Section 2, Hours, and Section 16 Violations and Penalties. Somehow, our park went from closing at sunset to closing an hour after sunset, which was starting to become a small issue a few times with people leaving grills burning and stuff like that. So I don't know when that happened or how, but we're going back to sunrise to sunset, which is more than reasonable. The violations and penalties, this part is a little, you know, we're not so much violating and penalizing people that were here late, other than asking them to leave, but we did have an issue with someone going in there and cutting down trees. The police got involved, our legal team got involved. I don't remember the reason he was cutting down trees, but it was a bizarre situation. So that's the part where the violations and penalties come in. So any questions or comments from board members?
No.
No.
Just confirming my understanding, permitted events will go
Right.
uninterrupted, soccer, flag football, everything at the park like that.
Everything but soccer. And this is ordinance number,
This is just authorization to advertise.
oh, okay. Public comment. I see one hand.
There were reports of damage to the park with somebody driving four-wheel drives or something through it, but it didn't look like there were any actual punishments in terms of big fines that will pay for having that fixed. So
There
does
was
that
one
cover it?
down at Quaker Penn Park recently. The one, I guess, I don't know, Chief Whitney might know better if we caught them or what happened, but it goes to a county court where they would get fined. We don't do the fining.
We've had several incidents at Quaker Penn Park, and we have, there has been, people have been fined twice, and they are paying us back restitution for the damages. So we haven't found the last two yet.
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question is we are going after for fines.
Brian, are those fines a penalty, and do they come to us, or is restitution that comes?
Restitution, we went in front of the court, based off estimates, to repair the damage, and they're.
So we're made whole to be repaired?
Yeah, paying, they're making, monthly payments. We worked out some payment plans with the people, but yes, they are paying us back for the damage, yes.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that the fines were going to be appropriate for covering those costs. So, thanks.
All right, is there a motion to advertise?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 8, consider establishment of the compensation for the tax collector.
And members of the board, every 4 years before the tax collector is scheduled to run for reelection, the board must set their compensation for what they will be paid for being the tax collector. We have prepared a resolution for you this evening that is substantially in the same form as the one we have done every 4 years for many years now. It has 4 blanks in it. The first is in section 1, indicating that the compensation of the tax collector of the Township of Falls commencing in 2025 shall be blank per tax parcel. That means for each bill that gets sent out, the tax collector is allowed to collect a certain dollar amount. My understanding is that the tax collector is seeking an increase of a total of $3.20 per tax parcel for each bill that gets sent out.
She's not asking for an increase of $3.20.
She's not asking for an increase. She's asking for an increase to $3.20. She is currently at $2.20. The other blank is in section 3, which has that the fee that the tax collector shall include a certain amount for certifications, a certain amount for non-sufficient funds, and a certain amount for duplicate bills. Those current amounts are $40 for certifications, $25 for non-sufficient funds, and $5 for duplicate bills. The current tax collector is not seeking a raise in any of those fees. So the only fee that has been requested is from $2.20 per tax parcel to $3.20 per tax parcel.
All right, any questions for board members? Mr. Galloway?
No.
Mr. Boraski?
Is this normal?
First of all, you're required to do it in the year that the tax collector is running, and then it'll stay stagnant for the next 4 years. Anyone seeking the position should know what the fees are and what the compensation is. I would say that in all the municipalities that we represent, an increase every 4 years is pretty typical.
That's what I was asking, I think, like,
Yeah.
is it equivalent to what cost of living, or?
No, I'm not sure exactly what she's basing it on, but this is, again, it's pretty typical from what we see in most places, so.
Okay.
And the fact that all the other fees are remaining the same, so.
Okay,
Ms. Mellon?
thank you.
No questions.
Mr. Palmer?
No questions.
All right, is there a motion? What is this now? Resolution number 26?
2025-6.
That's 6.
Correct.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made. Is it second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
That ask for public comment,
Oh, any
please.
public comment needed? No, I apologize. Where are we at here? Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Item number 9, consideration to appoint United Inspection Group for electrical inspections. These guys have been doing this as long as I've been here, I think, and they do a good job. I think there's only one place in Bucks County that they don't inspect at. I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. Any questions or comments from Mr. Takita? This is pretty straightforward.
Yes, it is, and the fee schedule for United will remain the same as last year's.
Right. Any questions or comments from board members?
No.
No.
None? Any public comment needed? See no hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Consideration of purchase for bare root trees from the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society. We're buying 20 trees for $1,500. Any questions or comments from board members? Mr. Boraski, Mr.
No.
No
Ms. Mullen?
questions.
All right. Any public comment needed? No hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Can you pull the board, Mr. Galloway?
Yes. Jeff Brasky.
Yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
And I vote yes.
All right, we have another change order from Rycon in the amount of, what are we at here?
The amount is $162,667.09.
All right. And what is this about here? What are we doing? What changed here that we have to pay on $160,000?
This is related to existing conditions and design development issues.
All right. So I see a credit of minus $75,000. What is that?
There was a portion of the project where we would be paving the service yard. We are not going to do that, so we'll get a credit for the milling and overlay.
Any questions from board members, Mr. Galloway?
None.
Mr. Boraski?
Nope.
Ms. Mullen?
No.
Mr. Palmer?
No.
Any public comment? All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
Yes. Jeff Brasky.
No.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Consideration of approval of assignment of the contract agreement from IEI Architects, Inc. to Design Blends Architects. Basically, the people that are our architects changed, the business changed hands, is that correct?
They merged with another group
They
called
merged with
Design
another
Blends,
group,
correct.
that's the sum of it. Any questions for board members?
No.
None?
Is there any comment from the solicitor?
No, as Mr. Takita said, this is just a change in ownership. There's no change to the contract. There's no change, I don't think there's any change to the personnel that's going to be working with the township.
No, there's not.
Any public comment needed? All right, is there a motion to approve the change?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Item 13, consideration of resolution for the proposed sale of Lower Makefield Township sewer system to Aqua. So we're not really approving a sale of anything, we're just approving the fact that the people in Falls Township are now going to be buying their sewer from Aqua and vice versa, correct?
Exactly. The Department of Environmental Protection has an act, it's a 537 plan. The 537 plan lists who the sewer provider is in each service area. Now that Aqua has purchased the Lower Makefield system, there are certain Falls residents who are now being serviced by Aqua. So all this resolution is essentially doing is changing the name of the service provider on our Act 537 plan. We have nothing to do with the sale. The sale's already gone through. This is purely administrative.
Any comments from board members?
Nope.
No.
No.
Any public comment? Go ahead.
So you're saying none of the households that are currently covered, I guess, we're not paying sewer. So how do we know when that's going to change?
Where do you pay your water to now?
Say it again.
Where do you get your pay your sewer and water bill to now?
TOFA.
Okay, this has nothing to do with TOFA.
Okay, but so when is that going to change? Because if
It's not.
that's,
You're serviced by TOFA. This is
Yeah,
only
this
for
is-
those very small residents in the township
That are
who
really
are served
Lower
in Lower Makefield.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'm just wondering when the heads up is coming.
No,
Thank you.
you got it. All right. Any other public comment? Is there a motion to approve the sale?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
This is item 14. This is that land use appeal, Brzezinski versus Falls Township Zoning Hearing Board for the old Lincoln Garage property at 654 Lincoln Highway. As Mr. Clark stated,
This was a resolution, wasn't it a resolution? The water, Lower Makefield?
number 7,
Yes.
resolution 7 was the Lower Makefield Water one. I apologize. Thank you, Mr.
Yep.
President. As Mr. Clark said earlier, we're not approving this project tonight. We're not approving the design, anything. We're just agreeing to the settlement between the zoning hearing board and the developer. After tonight, he may just walk away, you never know. But it would have to go through the full land development process if when this is approved, if he decides to build these houses where the folks were speaking of earlier. And again, this is right on Lincoln Highway where the old Lincoln Garage was, across from the Dunkin' Donuts and the car wash and so forth, just past the garden center. It's an old rundown building that's been there forever. Any questions or comments from board members?
No.
No.
Any public comment needed? You already commented on this once.
What exactly is the settlement?
I don't know. Whatever he wanted to build and they denied, he came back and said,
You have it.
go ahead.
Mr. Dents, I have the terms of the settlement.
Okay.
The building was reduced to lower it to 2 stories rather than 3. They've added fencing and landscaping between the proposed development and the neighboring residential properties, and they're going to add as much parking as possible without increasing impervious surface on the property.
Okay.
All right.
I
Any
wish,
other-
I wish the other residents had heard that. Hopefully they watch back.
Maybe they'll watch it on TV.
Yeah.
Any other public comment needed? With that, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Number 15, consideration of waiver of fees for Levittown Fire Company Number 1. They had some work done on their building in the amount of $961.50 in permit fees. Any questions or comments from board members?
No.
No.
No? Any public comment needed? Is there a motion to waive the $961.50 fee?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board? Or do we have to pull the board for that?
No.
Is there, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 16, we had a snow emergency on January 19th. We're going to ratify that now. Resolution number 8. Is that correct, Mr. Takita? Any comments or questions from board members?
No.
No?
No.
Any public comment? Hopefully it never snows again. So with that, is there a motion to approve resolution number 8?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Consideration of change order number 2 from Jones Engineering Associates for the municipal building renovation project. We have a $75,000 change order from Jones Engineering. Just like everything with the Rycon, I guess his fees went up with all the extra work he's been doing. Is that correct, Mr. Jones?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Mr. Jones?
No.
No. Any public comment needed? No hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been seconded. All in favor? Aye.
I'm a no for any change orders going forward from here on out. Actually, do you have a minute? Can we just chat real quick while we're talking about change orders? I have to say it and get it off my chest while you're here. Like, at some point, do you think we could put this together and bring all the change orders? It's every month. It's wild.
I mean, it's an inevitable part of construction. There's always going to be change orders. I understand.
It's every month.
I understand.
Like, what do we do at this point
if
we just say, if we have no more money?
I don't know what we do. We have to get together and talk about it. I mean, you know, I'm administering the contract. You know, if it's a valid change order, I approve it. It goes before the board. You know, we're looking at going after RICOM for delays and the architects, so on and so forth. But as far as the change orders that I'm approving, they're all valid.
Like, it's just for me, I get it, it's construction, I've been in a long time, but I feel like it almost appears that there's no forward thought behind it. It's like, we come into something, we'll just go back to the board. Like, I like them to go through the project to see an end game and come to the board and ask the board, if there's a change order, there's a change order, but let's like get together, like we should be in, you know, the final yard lines here. I wish we were closer than we are, but we're not. But I like to see you guys come back like one time with a final number and approach the board for that. Not every month, it's thousands of dollars extra. Seems crazy. Like, at the point we are, I feel like we're so far along that we're still looking for change orders.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not the end of it. I mean, there's still little changes that are getting approved.
I'll still be a no, that's fine. I just had to
I
get it off my
understand.
chest.
I mean,
so.
you know, to keep the work moving, I have to approve the change order. And they're not going to sit on hundreds of thousands of dollars and hope to get paid at the end. I don't have anything else to add.
Okay.
All right. Consideration of approval for a, no, we're not, that's not even a comment on an item. He just asked him a question.
Okay.
Yeah. He just asked the man from Maricon a question. That was 2 items ago.
And just so for the minutes, that vote should be recorded as 3-1-1, with Mr. Boraski voting no and Mr. Dixon.
And just for the record, too, he's not from Raycon. That's a gentleman from Greece.
Right.
Jim.
All right. Item 18, consideration of approval for contract from Auctions International. So when we have surplus equipment, vehicles, or whatever, we've in the past put them on municipal bid or whatever it's called and tried to sell them ourselves, and we sell them, but it never works out. Last year at the State Association of Township Supervisors Conference, Mr. Boraski and myself, ran into a company that this is what they do. They come down here, they take the pictures, they find the comparable prices, they list it for you, they sell it for you, and they give you a check. So it cuts out a lot of headaches for us because we were having vehicles appraised, and then we were paying people to list them, and there's a bunch of stuff, and you know, we get scrap money for it at the end of the day. So hopefully this works out for us. So is there any questions or comments from board members on approving that?
No.
That's a good idea.
I have a question. How fast is it going to get up there and get sold? Because we have a lot of surplus.
I have no idea. We'll have to give him a call, and you can probably ask him. I'll give you the guy's phone number.
All right.
Any public comment needed? See no hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointments. Any appointments tonight? I'm not going to go through every item. Do I have to, Mr. Clerk?
I just have one for the zoning hearing board.
All right.
If we can do that one, I'd like to make a motion to move Mr. Chris Kilmer Sr., who was here tonight from the firehouse. Currently, he serves as an alternate on the zoning hearing board. and would like to move into a full member.
I'll second that motion.
9.
9. Wasn't 8 the, snow emergency?
6 was the compensation for the tax collector, 7 was
8 was the snow emergency, this is 9. Thank you. So we're appointing, resolution number 9 is the zoning hearing board for Kilmercy.
Okay.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank
That
you.
takes us to,
I just have one more appointment.
Go ahead.
Connor Schmiegel to the Environmental Advisory Board.
all right, I'll second that motion. Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
We do have a letter from David DeBlasio, she wants to meet.
Well, I don't know if that was one alderman or not.
Oh, okay.
That takes us to escrow releases. We have North Point Industrial, Building 1, Phase 1, North Point FT Industrial, 10 Solar Drive, Tavo Properties, 2 Canal Road. First one is $1,138,344.61. Second one is $1,779,295.68. The third one is $278,468.76. And that's a letter of credit release, the second two. Any questions or comments from board members?
No questions.
Any public comment needed? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
Jeff Brasky,
Yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullins.
Yes.
Jeff Dents.
Yes.
I vote yes.
That takes us to the minutes from December 17th. Any questions, comments, corrections needed? Excellent minutes as always, Mrs. Pullen. If not, is there a motion to accept the minutes from December 17th as
So-
presented?
So moved.
Second. Motion made, second. All in favor? Aye. We have the January 6th reorg meeting. Same thing. Any questions, comments, or corrections? None. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. This is the engineer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the month of December, you'll see that there were 2 new land developments submitted and 1 new earth disturbance permit application. Highlighted in red from the land development column, the McGill composting facility is substantially complete and under a TCO awaiting final stabilization, which means the vegetation has to take to 70% minimum. The North Point Phase 2, buildings 4, 5, and 6, there's some demo work going on for, I believe it's building 6, and we're awaiting an amended final plan submission for that project due to a tenant. For the LPC Morrisville project, the warehouse on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah.
Work continues with concrete and building construction. For the Hyosin project, it's building construction that's ongoing. For the waste management renewable natural gas, that's substantially complete and awaiting final restoration. North Point Area 3 buildings, that's Phase 3, that's still, the fill continues, it's site prep and fill. The Gillespie Phase 3 project, they're working on asphalt paving and stabilization work, as well as some building construction. Air Liquide, mostly drainage improvements that are ongoing. North Point Area 3, Building 20, that's on Dean Severs, that's mostly utility work, sanitary sewer, water, and fire service. Under the final section of highlighted land developments, 3 projects are going to be before the Planning Commission tomorrow. It's the Pennsbury High School sketch plan, the Fallsington Tullytown Road garages, and that TJJ Properties LLC project, which is simply a garage on a property off of Tyburn Road. And the other highlighted land developments will be before the Planning Commission in February. In terms of the earth disturbances in the middle column, the residential project is completed, number 22. Number 23 continues with erosion control and site preparation work. The final 2 residential applications in the middle column are both under a temporary certificate of occupancy, waiting for vegetation to establish. In the third column, the first residential, number 47, that project is complete, and the one below it is in the same condition as the other two, where it's under a TCO, waiting for vegetative stabilization. Waste Management Properties, Inc. Is substantially complete, again, under a TCO, awaiting vegetation stabilization, as well as the Robin LLC, that's a residential property, same issue. Britton Realty of West Bridge Street, that's drainage improvements is the ongoing construction. And for Fleck Holdings, building addition work is occurring, as well as driveway improvements. The bottom earth disturbance was a recent submission that has been reviewed and approved for issuance of an earth disturbance permit. In terms of the township projects, building renovations continue, as well as curb, sidewalk, and asphalt paving for the township building. That's my update, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jones. Any questions from board members? Mr. Galloway?
No questions.
Mr. Boraski?
No, thank you.
Ms. Mullen?
No, thank you.
No question.
Any public comment needed?
Robert Abrams, excuse my ignorance here, I'm not an engineer. When you're given sketches, drawings, diagrams, or whatever, are you requiring environmental impact studies to go with these?
We'll require that if the ordinance requires us to require that.
Okay, so if they're knocking down a building and the water's going to cascade onto your roadway, which you have to fix, you would require something like that, or you?
We would require documentation.
Okay. He's going to start.
All right, thank you. Moving on, we have the bill lists. We have a bill list in the million of $4,023,917.89. 1.5 million is payroll and benefits. 2.4 is all kinds of stuff. We have the Rycon construction, a bunch of more releases for construction, workers' comp, and over $100,000. Any questions or comments from board members on the bill list? Mr. Galloway?
None.
Raski?
No.
Ms.
No
Mullen?
questions.
Mr. Palmer?
Yeah, I have one question. Chief, can I ask you a question? Can you come to the podium? I had a discussion with you a little bit ago about laptops purchases that we had, and then they were getting set up. You made mention that you had some concerns on Stand-on S's, how much they charge for setup for the laptops. You thought it was pretty excessive?
I do recall that, yes.
Yeah. Who do I talk to find out if this is excessive? Because I'm trying to approve this bill list. And
Are the laptops on the bill list?
yeah, Surface Pros, I'm assuming that's it. Matty, do you know if the police, do you know what we're talking about here with the setup?
Yes, and what we can do is we can reach out to Stand-on S, we can set up a call with you and them to discuss.
All right, I'll settle with that. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any public comment needed? Did we not have a bill list available, a summarized bill list for the public? Oh, Tony didn't get one. All right. Is there a motion to approve the bills?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway? Can you poll the board?
Jeff Brasky.
Mr. Clark, can I ask a question real quick before I make my vote? Sure. I know I'm pretty outspoken on the changes to the building. Are they gonna be, is this what we're voting on? Is it included in, because we had change orders?
They are included in.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so my question was about when the change orders are being paid. So these are, the change orders voted on last month are in the bill list now? Okay.
Mr. Galloway, can you poll
Jeff
the board?
Brasky.
No.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
And I, of course, vote yes.
All right, that takes us to Obermeyer, Riemann, Maxwell, Hippo bill list in the amount of $1,616. At what point are we done getting bills from these people?
I think we're pretty close. They're really not doing much else. There's just the one matter that they're working on. It's
Microphones.
Then move your microphone. She's a little buzzer. They just shock me.
Shocked, yep.
Yeah. All right, thank you. $1,616.50. Any questions from board members?
No.
No.
Public comment needed? No. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
Jeff Brasky.
No.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Jeff Dents.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
And I, of course, vote yes.
All right, that takes us to the Campbell Durant bill list in the amount of $8,218.57. Any questions or comments from board members? No?
No.
Any public comment needed? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
Jeff Brasky.
Yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dents.
Yes.
I vote yes.
That takes us to the Jones Engineering bill list in the amount of $204,828.50. Any questions or comments from board members?
No.
Any public comment? See no hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
Jeff Brasky.
Yes.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dents.
Abstain.
And I vote yes.
All right. That takes us to manager comment.
No comments.
That takes us to board comment. Mr. Galloway?
Yeah, Matt, earlier I discussed with the chief when he was up about, on behalf of the St. Patrick's Day Parade, honoring the staff supervisor who responded to the crisis last March, along with the police department. So if you can get that on the agenda for next month's meeting at the end of February, that would be great.
I will.
Thank you.
Mr. Boraski?
No, thank you.
Ms. Mullen?
No comment.
Mr. Palmer?
No comment.
I have no comment. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.